Where have players for Magic the Gathering decided to spend their money? When we look at a top 10 video from number 10 to number 1 and see which single cards are the hottest selling cards based on the volume of sales, will March of the Machines continue to dominate? Or will Brothers War, Phyrexia, All Will Be One, or maybe Dominaria United creep into the flow again? Because March of the Machines has been around for 3 weeks and history tells us the sales will start slowing down. So what's going to happen? Stay tuned and find out. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for coming and hanging out with me on my channel today. It's a top 10 video, and let me tell you, after doing this for the last year and a half, doing these top 10 videos, you can start to predict the future. You start feeling like Nostradamus, and I feel, and I can prove that the sales are slowing down, that things are calming down when it comes around to March the Machines. We've gone around the carousel for 3 weeks. The sales in this card are starting to peter out as players have indulged in all the cards they want and are now kind of sitting and biting their nails waiting for the next set. Now, we already kind of know what's coming up with Aftermath. There's no real excitement that's going to happen. Maybe 1 or 2 cards. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do spoiler season. Yes, I get a little bit of a chuckle. Way to go, old school MTG. But at the same time, it's still a new product and players want to experience it. But then we got the bigger bad boys coming, right? That brings us into July and August. Late June, we got Lord of the Rings. We got August, what we got coming up there, we got Commander Masters. We have some heavy hitters coming that will draw players' attention massively. For good or for bad, people will be looking there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We'll get to those later. I just want to let you guys know that's why you're going to see a drain on the single sales. Also, more players are diverting funds to the reserve list, and I'll talk about the reserve list stuff on Sunday for the reserve list edition of the top 10. You can see at the same time, 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. I always put these videos up each and every day for you guys to consume and enjoy. So let's check out this top 10. Let's see what number 10 was, and we'll go all the way down to number 1. And I can't wait to read your comments in the comments section later. Starting out at number 10 this week is Elesh Norn, March of the Machines. With an average price tag of $21.40 US, the market price of $19.57 US, a foil is $24.19. It's €17.45 to get this card into your house. 398 sales this week, and of course all sales this week are from April 29th to May 5th of 2023. Now, this March of the Machines card does see a lot of play. I see it inside of a lot of arena games, and I'm starting to see it show up in my local shops. It has not been the determining factor card yet, but it's still new for what players are trying to do and make this card work out with, because the fact it can become the Saga card has kind of drawn things out a bit where players aren't really sure how it's going to fit in with their builds, but this card is going to have a long life. You're going to see it in Commander decks. You're going to see it in Standard for the next little while. It may find a home in Modern. That casting cost is not that bad. We'll have to wait and see. The future is what I'm trying to tell you is not told on this card yet, and I had a lot of fun playing with it so far, so I hope it goes a little bit further, but that price tag I think is going to stay roughly where it is, at least for the time being. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 9 this week, and that is Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. The average price tag on this card is less than $1. It's 79 cents US. The market is 52 cents US. A foil is less than $1. It's 99 cents. 78 euro to get this card. It's like $2 here in Canada. Now, let's take a look at these 428 sales and see why people might be buying it. It's a 3 casting cost legendary artifact. It has 2 and tap. Target opponent mills 3 cards. Put a land card from their graveyard onto the battlefield tapped under your control. It gains if this land would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Now think about that card. Think about the way you can set up to make sure you get a land. This card is actually pretty good. It's going to see play, and a lot of players don't realize it yet. I love the fact that this card is so cheap because later on I can see it being a $5, $6 card. A lot of fun. Now, it has 10 and Sacrifice. Sacrifice the Realmbreaker, the Invasion Tree. Search your library for any number of Praetor cards and put them onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Think about this. It's 10 and Sacrifice, but you're going for land. You're using your opponent's stuff to get land. That is insane. Imagine this in a Commander deck. Guys, it should see play. It will see play. The question is now, or a year or two from now when more cards come out, making it even more playable. Now, number 8 this week, out of the blue from original Commander, is Commander Command Tower. Guys, 692 sales this week. It's less than $1. It's 94 cents US. The market's 83 cents US. It's €1, 89 cents to get this card into your house. And here in Canada, we are looking at the grand total of around $2 for this card. I mean, it's cool. I get it. It's Command Tower, but it's been printed so many times. I was surprised to see this card in this version sell this many copies. Now, of course, don't forget this card says, tap to add 1 mana to your mana pool of any color in your commander's color identity. So it is an auto include in every single Commander deck, and I think it's pretty much printed at least once in every Commander deck series, it seems. It's kind of crazy. But it's here. It's number 8. Let's move on. Number 7, we have Vorinclex. Again, March the Machine, guys. Average price tag, $10.99 US. Market price is $10.55. A foil is $11.96. And it's €9.25 to get this card into your house. It's around $14 here in Canada. 728 sales this week. Now let's look at this vicious boy. All right. It is a 2 green, 3 generic, 6/6 legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor, with trample and reach. I wish they'd kept the haste on it. It'd make it so much more vicious. When Vorinclex enters the battlefield, search your library for up to 2 forest cards. Reveal them and put them into your hand. This is a very nice card, by the way. And then it's 2 green and 6 other. Exile Vorinclex, then return to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control. Activate as a sorcery, the Grand Evolution. Mill 10 cards. Put up to 2 creature cards from among them onto the battlefield. Wow. Part 2 is distribute 7 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures you control. This guy is so powerful. And then, of course, number 3. Until the end of your turn, creatures you control gain 1. This creature fights target creature you don't control. Exile the Grand Evolution and, of course, return to the battlefield, which means it comes back as Vorinclex. Guys, tell me that's not worth the money. These cards are at a great price right now. And when I was growing up, we didn't have anything like this. We were awed and inspired by a force of nature. We thought, wow, it's an 8/8. It's massive. Look at Vorinclex. He's just so cool. All right, number 6. We are back here with the Invasion of Ikoria. Again, this card has been hanging out here every week in the top 10, but it has slipped a few places. Average price tag is $14.10 US. The market price, $13.20. The foil is $16.25 US. And it's €7.13 to get this card into your house. But of course, 812 sales, what are we getting for these sales? As a battle card, this one does seem to see the most play. It has 6 life on it. It's 2 green plus X. When Invasion of Ikoria enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle. You get it? Great. And of course, when your life's all gone, it flips into like an 8/8 guy, which is kind of like a force of nature. Yeah, you see why I brought that up. You guys know where I'm going with this stuff. Guys, great card. I can see this card having a lot of play for a very long time. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 5 this week. And that is Surak and Goreclaw out of the blue. This card has not been on the top 10, but it's here now with 926 sales. Let's take a look at this. The average price is only $1.83 US. The market price is $1.77 US. The foil is $7.83 euro. Okay, guys? Now, here in Canada, this card's only going to run you like $3. So what does this card do? In case you haven't really seen it in play, I've only seen it once or twice myself. It is 2 green, 4 generic for this legendary creature, Human Bear. Trample, but other creatures you control have trample. I love those passive abilities. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and it gains haste until end of turn. Kind of great, right? It's kind of an awesome card. And the idea of Goreclaw is amazing. The 2 Titans of Tarkir carved a swath through Phyrexia's elite. I love the idea of it. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like John Wick got together with like Nobody. With that guy, Nobody from that movie. Great film, man. I love that stuff. Great film. All right, guys, number 4 this week. Sunfall, March the Machine. This thing refuses to go away. 1,207 sales this week. Average price is $1.60 US. You can see a foil is $1.82 US. €1.54 to get this card to your house. It's around $3 here in Canada. But what Sunfall does, I really enjoy. Depending on how big the battlefield is, you can get a lot out of this. It is a rehash of cards that already exist. I get that, but it's a card we can use. 2 white, 3 generic. Sorcery. Exile all creatures Incubate X, where X is the number of creatures exiled this way. Doesn't say non-token creature, just says exile. I've seen people exile like 30 or 40 things because of how many incubate things they had out over and over. It was hilarious. Like, oh, I'll incubate this one, I'll incubate that. And then you just wipe the battlefield of all these micro mini guys. It's awesome. Guys, a very fun card to use. It's not going to be expensive. It's never going to be a $10 card. Don't worry about it. It's okay, chill, to get it for a couple bucks. Now, we're now into the top 3. Oh, I love Incubate. Making like a 5/5 creature is so cool. I mean, it does remind me of the Lazel top plating kind of things from the Dread Horde, but it's okay. Number 3, the Primal Conqueror. 1,287 sales this week. The price is flatlined, but you can see it's holding where it is. This whole 3 weeks, it's kind of dropped off after the pre-release, and this is where it's at. The average price is $6.02 US. The market price is $5.44 US. A foil, surprisingly, $8.83 US. That's quite a discrepancy from previous price points where foils are paired off against a non-foil card. €4.02 to get this card to your house. It's around $9 here in Canada. Now, I love the card, guys. I like when it flips over into the 11/11 that can, like, Toxic 11 and poison counters and wipe everything out. Better than a Blightsteel Colossus. I just like the idea of it. I love the card. I like the flavor, other than kind of like Jurassic World kind of photograph there. It's amazing to see this stuff happen. And the fact we're going back to places like Ixalan and going back to Eldraine this year, I can't help but get a little bit excited. I just feel like it's been a while since I've been to Eldraine. I know it's only 2018, but that's almost 5 years. So way to go. Cards like this, I think, are going to play well in the long term. Let's go ahead and take a look at number 2, and that is the Fairy Mastermind. I knew this card was going to be good the second I saw it. So did you guys. All right, the average price, $10.99 US. The market price is $10.71 US. A foil, $12.03. And then we've got €8.12 to get this card into your house. It's around $12 here in Canada. And when you take a look at that good old fairy, you say, yeah, he's got a plan. He's got a master plan. He is 1 blue, 1 generic, flash with flying. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. And of course, he has the ability to pay 1 blue and 3 generic. Each player draws a card. You can have some fun with all your friends in Commander by a new Fairy Tribal deck. Yeah, don't forget that. Those sales on the reserve list for Fairy Noble and Willow Priestess, yeah, they don't lie. Great stuff, guys. That is the Fairy Mastermind. But now we've been brought here. We've gathered around the table. You've all been waiting with anticipation. Of course you didn't fast forward. I'll stick the Necronomicon on you. You've waited long enough. Here we go. Number 1. Yes! Oceloth, the Shattered Spire. 1,643 sales this week. Average price, less than $5. Market price, less than $5. You guys can see it on your screen. And it is a good card. The Shattered Spire is a fun card because as a legendary artifact, with only 1 green to get it out, it's kind of nice. 1 green, 1 generic. Legendary artifact. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on instead. 1 green, 1 generic, tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate as a sorcery, but then they add the bonus of cycling it for 2. Even cheaper than they do for all the amazing triumphs. They make it even easier to cycle this thing. An amazing card, guys. I can't say enough. But if you've noticed, look at the sales numbers. I just finished off with the Shattered Spire, 1,600, which is still very respectable. But the sales are down across the board. Everything is slowing down in anticipation of the next sets moving up. It doesn't mean these cards are any less playable. It doesn't mean players won't continue to buy them. But they're not going to make the list because new cards will come and take that list. I will be very surprised if next week's top 10 doesn't have at least some Brothers War or Dominaria United, because other cards creep in this lull period before the next set comes out. We've seen it a few times now as we've been doing these videos. So you can't be that surprised now. You kind of can see the rhythm of how players are doing things. Thanks a lot for hanging out. This was your top 10. I'm looking forward to reading those comments. Let's smash them down there. Don't forget to give the video a like, of course. And to all the new subscribers joining on, thanks again for helping me get that much closer to 20,000 subscribers and the epic party we're going to have when we get there for our 20K. It's going to be amazing, guys. I can't wait to share it with everyone, but I can't ruin anything until around the 19,000 mark. So when we get to 19,000, we'll go over stuff. Thanks again. See you soon. Have an awesome day. You found my secret, my kryptonite. That's right. It's the patrons. I don't have any sponsors on this channel, so the patrons help make this happen. They're the ones who make sure my content's here each and every day. Thanks again for every patron who helps me out. Cheers. Do you know I couldn't think of anything? I said cheers at the end of that. Like the television show. Cheers, everyone. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I'm thinking on the fly, and I just had to mention this at the end credits that I did that. Because I realized that's not my normal thing. I didn't put a boomstick in there. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it's, the coffee's kind of half full here. There's something in here. What is that? Is that a moth? I'll eat it if I have to. I can't get it out, guys. I know you're all waiting for some crazy thing, but it is a moth! Ah! Oh! You're wondering if I'm going to drink this, aren't you? You're wondering if I'm going to have a mothy coffee? You guys should know me by now. That moth ain't going to stop me. You guys can say it's gross all you want. That's good coffee right there. That moth just added a little bit of texture, a little bit of flavor. I don't know what to tell you. Just one of those Saturdays you're like, what is this guy talking about? Honestly, guys, here we are at the end. The sales. I'm not surprised that we see this declining sales volume of cards. It is almost predictable, Nostradamus style. This is the 7th or 8th set I've really seen the rhythm of how we go. Almost let you know you can predict it when the sales will slow down and when that lull in the market comes before the next set comes along. And the only bonus thing is the reserve list card stuff. That's all thrown out there. I can't wait to share some stuff I found out yesterday and the day before, but we'll do that on the reserve list Hot 10 tomorrow. Thanks again for being here. Of course, if you're buying any of these cards on TCG Player, make sure you use my affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. Click the link, takes you to TCG Player, and of course, anything you buy there, we get a 3.5% kickback to the channel. It's awesome. So thank you very much for everyone who takes the time to do that. Have an awesome day. Gonna finish the moth coffee. And I'll see you guys later. It's awesome.